What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Friday stream. Gonna wait for a few more people to come on in, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. As usual, make sure you go ahead and like the stream. Make sure it gets to over 100 likes, please and thank you. We definitely have a lot of topics to cover today, as we do every Friday. Shout out to Darlene, Easy Be Easy, Just Ask Shar. The early birds are here. The people are going to start strolling in eventually. What's going on? Some chick named Star. Today's a very interesting day to have a live stream. Today's just a very interesting day overall. What's going on, Tom Malone? One. And for those of you who don't know why I do the weekly live streams, it's because I get overloaded with so many stories and emails every day that I can't cover all of them in pre-recorded videos. So whichever ones I don't get to cover, or maybe ones that people aren't aware of, I just make a list of those and I cover it in this live stream all at one time. That way I have covered it all, and then I can just basically start fresh at the beginning of the next day. And it gives me a reason to do a live stream, because at one point I had stopped doing live streams for a while, and this is my way of getting back into it. As a matter of fact, when I did my 30K live stream, that was like one of the only live streams I said I was going to like do for a little bit. But I said, you know what? I owe it to my subscribers, since I crossed 30K, to do a maybe a weekly live stream and have it be every Friday. And I said the only thing that will happen is that I don't upload any videos on Friday, and the live stream is the only thing that I do. What's going on, Chris in Dallas? You said you never caught a live stream before. You finally got the notification. We're going to touch on that when I get to the topic about YouTube and them supporting Black creators, quote unquote. What's going on, Clutch God? Jerron, what's up? What's going on? It's on Jamal Bay. We're going to wait for a couple more people to come on in, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. How has everybody's Juneteenth been so far? Happy Juneteenth to everybody listening right now and everyone in the chat. What's going on, AB Media, K Ba, J Cage? You say you caught my live on your day off finally. Well, I'm glad you were here. Hopefully you can catch some more. Like I said, every Friday from 4 to 6. What's going on, Hot Tub Tony, Boulder Rockets? El Michelle said, I made it. It's good to know that people are making it into the stream who probably have trouble probably getting in here otherwise, maybe because the notification didn't go out, or maybe it's some other obligation that they can't catch it. Because every time I do a live stream and I see the playback and I look at the comments, one of the first comments or a few comments I always see is, I missed it. Whether it's because YouTube didn't send out the notification or what have you. Same to you, Chauncey. Like I said, happy Juneteenth to everybody in the chat. And to be honest, I'm not just saying happy Juneteenth because now a lot of people are recognizing it as a national or federal holiday. I've been saying that. I remember when I first said happy Juneteenth about 2 or 3 years ago, when it wasn't popular to say. But we're going to touch on that too. What's going on, Nightfall Drop, Kenneth Higgins? I'll probably get started in another minute. And today, Google will be guiding us. Today, Google will literally be our friend, because a lot of the stuff that I got to pull up to talk about is all pretty much coming from Google. So you're probably going to see more of Google's home screen than you're going to see of the screen you see right now. Just giving y'all a heads up. We're gonna talk about that when I get into the topic about Juneteenth, J. Cage. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. All I could do was just sit back and laugh at it. That's all I could do. At this point, you got to know that this guy is trolling people, and all you can do is just sit back and laugh at some of the crap that he does in his antics. Because we can't take him seriously. I can't really take him seriously at all. All right, it is 4:05. We are going to get started. And usually when I do my live streams, I like to do like opening little topics, like ones I would like to throw out there that have really nothing to do with the lineup of topics that I'm about to discuss. But yesterday when I was on social media, I happened to notice something amongst a lot of Black people, and it was something I saw on Instagram. Did you know that a lot of Black people unfortunately did not know Beethoven was Black? Oh, yes. A lot of Black people did not know or just found out yesterday that Beethoven, the composer, was Black. I was actually very shocked because I actually learned about that years ago. Because I was on Instagram and they were saying like people out, like Black people for the most part, did not know that he was Black. And people were saying, I knew there was a reason why I liked some of his songs, or why there was a reason why I like to play some of his music. His music was even sampled by a lot of hip hop and R&B artists, and Black people didn't even know it. Yep, Reve, I also heard that Mozart was also Black. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of Black people did not know that Beethoven was Black. But you know what? I can't really completely fault them for that because they whitewashed his image. Like, when we were growing up, they painted him as this very pale guy. And then because he was from Germany, they the association with that is mostly palm-colored individuals. So to find out that he was Black probably caught a lot of people by surprise, but a lot of people just found out this week that he was Black. But I did see some funny comments though. They said, "Wow," they said now he about to go number one on Spotify. He about to be number one on the Billboard Hot 100. What's going on, Vulcan 2054? We're gonna touch on that too. One Pimp Afro. But yeah, like when you listen to like some of the like music and stuff like that, it actually sounded like something that a Black composer would come up with. Salute Solo Dolo. He says, salute fam, happy Juneteenth B1. Shout out to you and happy Juneteenth to you as well. But yeah, I had to chuckle a little bit, but I was actually genuinely shocked that it was that many Black people that didn't know that Beethoven was a Black man. Because I remember, I think I was watching some kind of special or documentary about him years ago when I was in probably middle school or something like that. Because he was deaf, so that's why he was always banging on the keyboard in attempts to probably in attempts to hear himself. But of course, that didn't work. So people thought he was crazy. But when I was looking at that documentary and I was looking at how his features looked, I said, I don't think that guy is white. Just looking at those features and that hair. Like I always tell people, if you want to know a melanated person just by looking at it, if you're not entirely sure, look for three things: the hair texture, the nose size, and those lips. Those three things will tell it all. Salute to everyone else in the chat who I did not acknowledge who just came in. We are in the introduction phase of this stream. And we're just basically now talking about how Black people didn't know Beethoven was Black. But they found out this week, they found out yesterday. But I also wanted to in my introductory pieces, I wanted to talk about a story that I hadn't talked about in a while, and I'm gonna share my screen in order to do that. Let me see something right quick. Okay, who remembers this? I'm gonna have to go to my phone now for this one, so I can watch them right along with y'all. Who is familiar with the story right here that you see on your screen? Those of you who have been following me for the last few months know about this story right here. This story right here hit me hard. This story right here with Rika Roundtree definitely hit me hard. But this is a petition that is going around that was started by Rika Roundtree's mother, in which she wants everybody who was involved in some way, form, or fashion with the death of her daughter prosecuted. Now, so far, we already know that the sperm donor, he has already been charged and sentenced to, I think, 8 years in prison, in which he is currently serving right now. Now, the Cynthia Baker chick, the one who was like really abusing her, she was supposed to be sentenced, I think, back in April, but due to the virus breaking out, they had to postpone it. So I don't know when her sentencing is actually going to occur. But this story was a hard one to talk about. But it's like one of those stories when you talk about it, you can't stop talking about it until you get to the end result. But this is the petition right here. You can go to change.org. There's like I said, this was created by her mother, so she could convict and sentence everyone involved with her murder to life. Because, like I said, this goes beyond just the sperm donor and Cynthia Baker. Also, the DSS, they need to be held accountable as well, because they had to have known this little girl was being abused, and they did not take her out of that environment that she was in. Yeah, Cynthia Baker, she definitely deserves life for what she did. What hurt me even more was when I was able to look at the footage of her holding up those cans. That was hard to watch. Having her hold those heavy cans in both of her hands while she didn't even have a shirt on. Like, she was had her back turned and was holding a shirt and everything, and watching her run as Cynthia Baker was making these threats to her and cry and everything like that. That was hard to watch. Like, you was literally seeing the abuse of a child happen right before your eyes. And it's crazy because you can tell she was more in tune with her mother, because in every picture I saw of her with her mother, she was always happy. But any other time, she didn't look like she was happy. So you could tell she was not in the right space. That's why I call her dad a sperm donor, because he put her in that environment, and he, like, one of the first things he should have did was make sure that his child was safe with whoever he was with that was not the mother. He put her in that environment and stayed there, and then aided in with the abuse, and then tried to step away from the whole thing, and probably would have had Cynthia Baker's, I think it was her sister, didn't reveal those text messages. Because at first I'm sitting there like, whoa, like, what's going on here? But then something in the back of my mind said he had to have known that this abuse was going on. Like, how could you have not seen the clear and obvious markings on her body? Like, this woman actually hit her so bad, she ended up chipping one of her teeth. That's how bad the abuse was. But yeah, this is the link to the petition. They have 12,004 signatures, and their goal is 15,000. So they have a little less than 3,000 signatures left. I'm gonna post the link afterwards with the after this the live stream is over and post, and I'm gonna pin it so you can come back and sign it if you haven't done so already, or you can just go on Google and type in RikaRoundtreeChange.org and it should come up. I think it's like the third one down. You're right, Michelle. Some people don't deserve to be parents, and it's sad because there's some people out here who wish to have kids who can't have kids, and yet people who are blessed to have children and they treat them like trash, like how she was. But that's the petition right there. Like I said, I'll leave the link if y'all want to sign it. You can go ahead and do so. Now, for those of you who are late to the chat, I told y'all to the people who were early, Google will be guiding us today. Basically, every story that I'm touching on right here, I'm getting it from Google. Some things you may have heard, some things you may have not. I think it's easier for me to do it. Just type the subject matter in and then have the article pull up. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is what you see right here on your screen. As you can see, everybody is on the Juneteenth bandwagon. Everybody. And I do mean everybody is on the Juneteenth bandwagon. I even just saw on Instagram before I started this live that Mayor Bill de Blasio in New York, it says next year that they are going to acknowledge Juneteenth as a official state, was it a state holiday? And basically it's going to be where children, like, well, it won't even matter because the kids gonna be out of school anyway. But basically it's a holiday where most people will probably have that day off. But it's interesting though, because before this year, you know how Google does their doodle thing, their Google Doodle? I don't think I've ever seen Google do a Juneteenth one before this year. Even on Facebook, on the app, they have a Juneteenth, like a low. If y'all on Facebook, you probably saw it. It's like a bunch of arms holding up the Black Power fist, and it has Juneteenth. Like if you hover over, it says Juneteenth over the cursor on Facebook. I think Juneteenth might have even been trending on Twitter today. And you have all these businesses out here that are now acknowledging it, or these places acknowledging Juneteenth as now an official holiday. But that also brings me to your president, your most favorite person in the world. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who I'm talking about. Put a 1 in the chat if that's your favorite person. So Dota says should be a federal holiday. We built the country. It should have been. It should have been it. Y'all must don't hear. I said put a 1 in the chat if that's your favorite person. I'm talking about 45, and y'all said 1. Let me find out. I got people in here who are in love with 45. Exactly, Tonda. When I said that, it reminded me of Willie D. When he says Donald Trump, your president. And have you noticed when he starts saying your president more and more, the finger gets closer and closer to the camera now? It used to be a little bit distant, but now it's almost like we had 3D glasses on, it would come right out the screen. But y'all fell for it. I said put a 1 in the chat if 45 is your favorite person. Y'all said 1. But anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning 45 is because someone stated it earlier before I really got into the flow of the stream, where he said, and y'all heard it, he claims that he made Juneteenth famous. You heard that correctly. 45, what's going on, Hattie? He said that he made Juneteenth famous. Famous to who exactly? Maybe his palm colored constituents, because before today or even a week ago, I don't even think 45 knew what Juneteenth was. After all, he wanted to have his rally today, but people got on him, and he pushed it to the next day. Now that's going to be interesting to see, because this is going to be 45's first rally since the Woo Woo. This is going to be his grand reopening. So this is going to be very interesting to see. But he claims he made Juneteenth famous, but he didn't even know what it was. I think it took someone who was black on his board or something like that to pull him to the side and let him know what Juneteenth was. But this is the guy this is the guy they voted for. I told y'all back in 2016 that they were going to regret voting for that man. I'm glad I was right. I'm so glad that I was right. Right, Reve was a black Secret Service member that pulled him to the side and let him know what Juneteenth was. But he loves to claim. He likes to claim credit. Basically, what 45 did is he pulled a Christopher Columbus. Claimed that he discovered something that was already there. Shout out to Cap PY2. He said he made running to the bunker famous. Someone else did that too. Somebody else ran to the bunker as well. We'll just call him Stash. What's going on, Lucky Lloyd? Boulder Rocket said, white folks been really respectful when I'm out and about. They know what time it is. That's why. They know what time it is. But don't get it twisted. Don't let your guard down. Yep, Self-Messiah. Like I said, we'll just call him Stash. Just call him Stash. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, look at what Self-Messiah just put, and that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was my laugh of the day. And I bet he said that with so much pride and conviction. And I bet you them co-colonizing cohorts, those of the Coonstress kind, were probably sitting there singing his praises and everything like that. I know they probably were, because that's just who they are. But what I did think was funny about Christopher Columbus was the cutting off of the head of that statue for, I think, the second time. I think they tried to repair it and then they removed it again. When I saw that picture, I bust out laughing. I laughed so hard when I saw that picture. Miss Elbow Jones said, I found a story a while ago when a PC woman said she discovered a hair bonnet. They're always discovering something that was already there. These folks have no shame. Exactly. Why do you think I keep saying they are not far removed from their ancestors? And when I say that, I don't have to mean going all the way back to slavery. We can be talking recent times, like, Jim Crow. But they don't vary away from the script. Well, let me move on from 45 and his antics and move on to the next topic. Let me pull my list up so I can make sure I'm on the right track. Okay, let's see. Okay, we are on this one right here. This is I guess you can say it's a Rayshard Brooks update, but it's not really an update so much about him, but more so about the terrorists that are involved with his killing. And I think this is the second one. This is that Devin Brosnan one. The other one I'm thinking about is Garrett Roth, or Roth, however you pronounce his name. So it says, officers charged in Rayshard Brooks' death turned themselves in. Now, this one right here, I believe, has the least amount of charges. I think he only has 3. And that Garrett Roth has 8, I believe, with one of them being like first-degree felony murder or murder in the first degree. And one thing I also heard was that after Rayshard Brooks was pretty much dead and laid out on the ground, one of them was standing on his elbow or on his shoulder, and the other one of them kicked him, or both. It was one of them that did the same. That both did the same thing. And then, of course, more information came out about that Garrett Roth. Apparently, back in 2015, he was involved with a shooting of another black man. I said, what I'm liking about what's happening right now is that they are digging into the past of these terrorists. They rarely ever did that before. They rarely ever did that. If that turns out to be true, they can, well, I don't know if they can use that because it's 2 different cases, but they can show he has a history of, messing with black people. Now, one charge that they did get him on that I know for sure he'll be found guilty of is when he shot into a vehicle that had like 3 people in it. None of them luckily got injured. Right there made them witnesses. As a matter of fact, I think everybody in that parking lot is going to be a witness. Like, people forget that they shot into a parking lot full of people. So that could be attempted murder. Yet reckless endangerment. But they'll definitely be witnesses. I said to myself yesterday, 2021 and 2022 is going to be chock full of trials. Them courthouses are going to be filled, and the world is going to be watching. Boulder Rocket said there was a child in the car. I didn't know that. That's not too good. Well, now let's be honest. Let's be for real. He will definitely be found guilty of that. I know for sure he can be found guilty of that, because that's what they got Michael Dunn on, the one who killed Jordan Davis. They got him on that because there was other people in that car with Jordan Davis. Is that Jordan Davis was the only one that got killed, and at first that was the biggest charge he was going to have because they found him not guilty of the other one, but they fought tooth and nail and took that thing back to court and found him guilty of killing Jordan Davis, and now he is currently serving a life sentence in jail like he should. That's one of the few instances where they got the case right, and I think they wanted to make sure they got that right because Jordan Davis got killed at the end of the same year that Trayvon Martin was killed. Okay. All right, I see what you mean, Boulder Rockets. We're gonna get onto that, Miss Yum Yum. That's actually gonna be my next topic. That's gonna be my next topic. As a matter of fact, I think I pretty much covered this right here. It was a very short discussion. It just says they were charged, but charge doesn't mean a thing. We need conviction and we need sentencing. Point blank, period. And like I said, with Everybody watching this right now, they will want to tread lightly with some of the reckless decisions that they make when it comes to these cases. So let me go back and go to the next story in which Miss Yum Yum mentioned. And this is a fairly new story that came out right here. We need convictions and we need sentencing. Damn. All right, let me go over this one. Okay. So, damn, one thing I hate about this is all these pop-ups. Okay. In case y'all have not heard, and this actually just came out today, Brett Hankinson, hold on. Let me mute that. In case y'all have not heard, Brett Hankinson, who in my opinion was the ringleader in all of this, who was responsible for killing Breonna Taylor, or one of the ones involved with the killing of Breonna Taylor, has been fired for misconduct. First of all, misconduct? See, that's the BS right there. And I hope nobody's excited about this. Misconduct? What they did was more than just misconduct. But what do you expect when, first of all, they didn't even criminally charge these terrorists? They didn't spend one day in jail. They weren't fired immediately. They put Kenneth Walker in jail, charged him with attempted murder. Breonna Taylor is dead. When they gave the police report, it was almost nearly completely blank. And now they're saying, oh, we fired him for misconduct. Do they really expect us to accept this as a good thing? Misconduct. That was not misconduct. That was murder. Remember, Brett Hankinson is the same guy who I think was tracking, and I call it that for a reason, Kenneth Walker since their first encounter a few years ago. And I think I talked about that when I talked about the case in which they said two women had accused him of sexual harassment or sexual assault. But misconduct, no. That's not going to work. And I don't know if y'all saw, but there was videos floating around on Twitter, and I think Tariq Nasheed posted it or reposted it, where they were boarding up the courthouse and sent the workers home. They boarded up the courthouse. I'm telling you, they are probably most likely planning an escape plan for this dude. They are probably trying to plan an escape route for this dude, for real. All I'm gonna say is this: they better think again. And the people out in Louisville, Kentucky, they better be prepared. Because I have a feeling that if this goes the way that it's not supposed to, they think Minneapolis was something. Because let's not forget, what happened to Breonna Taylor happened in the middle of March. We didn't find out about her until last month. Just like we found out about her around the same time as Ahmaud Arbery. And his happened a couple weeks before her. But I have a feeling if what happened to George Floyd didn't happen, it wouldn't have been so much pressure for them to even do this. They didn't want to fire this man. You can tell they only gave him misconduct. That's nothing. They charged Kenneth Walker more heavier than they charged him. And Kenneth Walker didn't kill anybody. I think they said Breonna Taylor was shot 8 times. You right, Quasi, about the qualified immunity. I did a video about that qualified immunity. That's something that also needs to go away, like the dinosaur, when it comes to these cops. That qualified immunity, basically, they can get away with anything. I tell you this right now: if they got rid of qualified immunity, that would be their last big line of defense gone. They would probably really be on edge if they got rid of qualified immunity. But misconduct, that's a joke. That is a joke. Are you kidding me? Did they really expect us to accept that? See, the days of handing black people crumbs when it comes to stuff like this are over. Our demands have gone higher, or at least they should have, or they should be. That's why when I say we're not just asking for convictions, we want sentencing. Because at one point, we wanted the conviction because it was hard to even get them to be charged. Then when we got them charged, we wanted them to be found guilty. When we found out they were guilty, then we wanted the right conviction. I mean, conviction, guilty, that's the same thing. Now we want the sentencing. And the reason why, look back a few months, almost a year with that Amber Geiger trial. We got the charge, we got the arrest, we got the conviction, but the sentencing was lackluster. That woman got charged with something, was found guilty of something that should have gave her life in prison, but they gave her allegedly 10 years. But Muhammad Noor gets found guilty of third-degree murder, manslaughter, and he get more years than she did. And he didn't even break into someone else's home. Misconduct. They can miss me with that, for real. Let me go on to the next story. Those of you who follow Lisa Cabrera might have already heard about this, but I'm gonna talk about it right here, just in case y'all have not heard about this. In case y'all don't know who this is Martin Gugino. It's Gugino or Gugino. It's one of the two. He was the protester in Buffalo, New York, who was pushed to the ground, as you can see right here, and was bleeding out of his ear and out of the back of his head. Well, based on what I have heard from Lisa's video about him, this guy is unable to walk now. I said, imagine that. You 75 years old, you going out there protesting, and you get pushed over by the people that you thought was supposed to protect and serve you. And you land like on your head, probably with a skull fracture. And now you won't be able to walk again, most likely. So what they're telling me is that this man is paralyzed. You can best believe that had that been my relative, they would have paid dearly in a few ways. But since I really, if we're going after them monetarily, I say snatch all of those pensions up. All of them, including the 57 that resigned and those out there who was out there clapping for those fools when they walked out of that courthouse or that police station. Get all of them. Find their name, their badge number, and snatch all those pensions away. I saw that, Shard. They did when they pushed him down, and one of the terrorists was trying to help him. The other terrorist grabbed him, snatched him up so quick, and basically said, "Keep walking this way." He is about to get a huge payday from the Buffalo Police Department. I said in the video that I did about him, the worst thing that could happen to this man is if he dies. Well, this would be considered the second worst. Now you've taken away his ability to walk. And imagine the pain that he was probably in. He probably wishes he was dead, because I couldn't even imagine what kind of pain that must be, especially at his age, because it takes him a little bit longer to recover. It's not like he's in his 20s. Shout out to Cat PYT. He says defund, demilitarize, revoke qualified immunity, police credentials, pensions when convicted, and dismantle all police unions. They are public servants. We know they're not going to do that. They need to do that, but we know they're not going to do that. And people keep saying, oh, they just need more training and this, that, and the third. Look, they came in this way. They came into that police academy that way. That's just who they are. Yeah, when you sustain a head injury like that, that affects the rest of your body. And like Ms. Yum Yum says that old people break bones when they fall. Yeah, their bones are brittle. Almost like that of a child, like a child when their bones aren't fully developed. And like I said, they don't heal as fast. Like they heal slower. And I don't know if he had any other ailments prior to this, but tack that onto this, it takes the healing process even longer. And look at this. It says protester Martin Gugino recovering at undisclosed location. They don't even tell you where he's at. And it's probably a good thing that they don't, because who knows what kind of death threats they could probably try to send his way. Because you best believe, should this go to trial, he's definitely going to be the star witness. He would have to be. He's the victim. Shout out to Sean from the Shy. They said this is the revolution televised. Yep. At one point they said the revolution wouldn't be televised. Not anymore. That was before the advent of social media. Now everybody sees everything. They showed their hand after the push. When they pushed him, that was brutal enough. But the fact that they walked over him after they did it, that was complete savage behavior. And then for those 57 terrorists to resign because they fired or whatever, they reprimanded those two for what they did, lets you know the kind of culture that goes on in that department. They're used to getting away with a lot of stuff. I will open up investigations on all 57 of those that resigned. Now, let me be clear. It says they resigned from those positions. It didn't mean they resigned completely from the department. They just moved to another division. And then those out there that was cheering for them, I said, wow. Now, to the palm colored people out there watching, this was an atrocity against someone that looks like you. Now, notice how they displayed themselves when this happened to someone that looked like you, or I maybe identified as you. I don't know what he identifies as, but for the sake of argument, look at what they did to someone who looks like you and how they acted. Look what they did to someone that looks like you. In the aftermath, all those years that you kept telling us that it was our fault that they keep treating us this way and that we need to respect the law enforcement and we need to stop resisting. This guy wasn't resisting nothing. He was being respectful, and they still treated him like trash. An older male, an elder, someone who's probably old enough to be their great grandfather. It was always a code that you don't disrespect your elders. And look at what they did. They disrespected him twice. Once they pushed him, the second they walked over him. But to the people in the chat, they're supposed to be the moral of society. We supposed to be taking our moral cues from them. At least that's what they say. This is exactly why I say don't take moral tips from them. Don't do it. Because this right here showed you right there that they lack it. Let me move on to the next topic. What's going on, Vin Malaje? Solo Dolo, shout out to you. He says, do it for Pop Pop and Mima. Okay, let me briefly talk about this situation right here. So everybody knows about that Wendy's that burnt down after what happened with after Rayshard. Let me move off of this because I'm not turning that damn ad blocker off. Every time I turn that thing off on that website, it starts to mess stuff up. But everybody heard about the Wendy's being burnt down after the fact, and they said that they most likely believe that it is this woman right here in this picture. Yes, the one in Atlanta. And there's actual video footage of her. Now, here's the thing. When I looked at the video footage, the Wendy's was already on fire. It was already on fire. Like when I was looking at it from the angle, it was already burning on the inside. So she literally just threw fuel onto the fire or tried to light it from the other side, I guess. Now, the Wendy's did not burn completely down, but they might as well knock the rest of it down anyway. But they turned it basically into a monument for Rayshard Brooks because they just put like a bunch of cards and balloons and teddy bears and stuff out there outside of the Wendy's or whatever's left of it. But they said that they are looking for her, and they also said that they have given out they're giving out a $10,000 reward for her capture. Whenever they start giving out big rewards like that, you know people gonna be Negroes gonna be trying to look for her. They gonna want that 10K. They gonna be looking for her. If she's even still in the city, that is. And I know a lot of people wanted to get ahead of this because they was like, they're gonna find a way to try to blame us and say that it was one of us that did it and everything like that. But she did this out in the open and didn't care who saw her. Shout out to Cat PY2. He says, what about Blue Lives Karen McDonald breakdown? I already did a video about that. That was a triple P, and I uploaded that yesterday. But as for her, she's not stable enough to be a cop if she's gonna break down over a sandwich. But they gonna be, like I said, they gonna be looking for this woman all over the place. They gonna make sure they try to find her. Now, this article was posted on the 17th. I don't think they found her yet. If they did, they would have said so. They would have said they found her already. But like I said, she probably already left the city. She's probably not even in Atlanta right now because they know they're looking for her. But that's pretty much all I wanted to mention, excuse me, as it comes to that story. Oh, I couldn't wait to talk about this one. Oh, here's a new one. I didn't see this one. Look at this. This is a brand new article, and it wasn't even the one I was looking for, but I'll take it. So in case y'all have not heard, YouTube has now also jumped onto the BLM bandwagon, even though a lot of us over here have been hopped off that bandwagon. As far as we're concerned, that bandwagon can crash and burn. But YouTube said that they want to support Black content creators. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not one of those black content creators they want to support. And I put a post out there a few days ago. I said, YouTube, if you want to support this black content creator, here's 3 things I want you to do. 1, give me back my original channel that had 15K plus 1,000 subscribers on it with enabled full monetization. 2, stop shadow banning my channel every other month. And 3, fire Susan. She is one of the worst CEOs in the world. Everybody agrees. I remember at one point when she would upload a video, that thing would get a whole bunch of dislikes. Nobody likes her. Nobody likes Susan. Every time she posts something up on her Twitter account, I look through the comments just to see the nasty comments people leave. And I'm be honest, I could care less that they're nasty. Shout out Solo Dodo. They said they'll be supporting LGBT black content creators. Let me tell you the type of content creators they support. Maybe reaction channels, like what you just said, Solo Dolo, gaming channels, makeup channels, skit channels, those type of channels, those that give people a good laugh or good entertainment. Me or Tariq Nasheed or Professor Black True, Jason Black, Your World, aka Harvey, aka Superboy, Nicole's View, Lisa Cabrera, True Royal Family, Kimberly Frazier, and a host of others. No. The channels that tell it like it is and don't sugarcoat nothing, no, we won't get that support. But this title right here, like I said, this is a new one for me. It says Black creators sue YouTube alleging racial discrimination. This was something that has been brought up a boatload of times over here, that there should be a class action lawsuit against YouTube and how they use the algorithm against black content creators. Well, those of us like myself. All I can say is it's about time. And I hope that it's a win. And shout out to Lisa Cabrera, because she actually took hers to like a small claims court and won her case. Willie D is the same way. When something happened to his channel, he almost lost it. He got the NOI. And notice since then, they have not messed with his channel since. They got shook. You would think after what that chick did a couple years ago when she came up to the headquarters and started that shootout, that they would learn. And here's the crazy thing. The stuff that happens on YouTube, or the way that they got to switch up their rules, is not even because of the black content creators. It's because of the PC ones. But because they are the ones that generate a lot of their money and their revenue, they let them off the hook every time. Look at what just recently happened with Jake Paul when he got caught looting at that mall in Arizona. And they charged him, and rightfully so. Now, I don't know what came up that, but the fact of the matter is he tried to lie and said that it wasn't him, and that, I forgot what he said, it was a lie. Shout out to you, Jerome Davis. You're right, Boulder Rock. He says Phil's channel is too big to shout out. Yeah, Phil is the only channel that talks about the same things that we talk about that I believe has over 1 million subscribers. That's crazy, because there's a lot of us out there, but he's like the only one that has like 1 million subscribers. I even seen like Lovely T, because Lovely T, she doesn't like a lot of celebrity gossip stuff, but she talks about real stuff as well. And I'd be seeing how they be tampering with her live stream as well. Like they be shutting her live stream down sometimes mid live stream, or they'll tamper with her channel and everything like that, because Lovely T, she doesn't just do gossip stuff. She talks about other stuff too. But what they're trying to do is they wanted to keep her in that box. But when she steps outside of that box and starts to talk about real things, then that's when they say, oh, we got to take you down, or we got to stop you, or put a halt, throw a wrench in your programming. Meanwhile, didn't YouTube a couple years ago get busted for having something child pornography related in on their platform, and those channels had a lot of views and full monetization on those videos that weren't even supposed to be there. Oh, I didn't know that, Miss Yum Yum. I didn't know they demonetized her. I'm not gonna put the person's name out there. I'm gonna just say your initials, but shout out to J.O. for this for the Cash App. But yeah, it's always been an issue with black content creators when it comes to YouTube and how they decide to treat their content creators who pretty much sometimes do some of the same things everyone else on here is doing. Who knows who the it's only 2 tech channels. I take that back. 3 tech channels that I am aware of, and I'm subscribed to all 3 of them, who are black, who all have over 1 million subscribers, and only one of them just recently hit 10 million, like a few years, like not a few years ago, a few months ago. That is Not Your Average Consumer, Flossie Carter, and Marcus Brownlee. Those are the only 3 black tech reviewers that I'm aware of that have over 1 million subscribers. And Marcus Brownlee just crossed 10 million a few months ago. And I'm subscribed to all. Oh, okay, that was you, JLJ. Okay, appreciate you. Those are the only 3 I know with over 1 million subscribers, and Marcus Brownlee has over 10. And it's crazy because tech channels, in my honest opinion, became real popular after Marcus Brownlee started it. Because I was looking at his 10 million subscriber video, and he did his first tech video back in like 2009. So he's been doing this for like 11 years. I've been subscribed to Flossie Carter before he even reached 100,000 subscribers, and now he's like at almost 2 million. And when I started looking at Not Your Average Consumer, I think he was probably at 1 million or close to it. I just gave y'all 3 tech channels that y'all can subscribe to, and they all do very, very good reviews and give honest opinions about what they do. One of my favorite videos that your average, I don't know why I call him Not Your Average Consumer, but I think it used to be, but I think he took the not off. But one of my favorite videos, a series of videos that Your Average Consumer does, is when he does the tech unboxing videos. Those are one of my favorite series of videos of his to do. And he does them like once or twice a month, where people send him a bunch of like tech stuff, and he does like one big unboxing. Mainly from, I think, sponsors. That's another thing that I think is dope, that they got sponsors. And if y'all don't know, Marcus Brownlee got so big that he interviewed Kobe Bryant. That's actually what made me start watching him. Not saying that it's because I was a fan of Kobe Bryant, because I've told y'all before I was not a Kobe fan, but I do respect his skills on the court. R.I.P. to him and his daughter. But he interviewed Kobe Bryant. This isn't a guy who is an ESPN analyst. He does tech reviews, and he interviewed Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, I think, reached out to him, if I'm not mistaken. He even interviewed Elon Musk, who, you know, was the founder of Tesla. Flossie Carter, he's a tech reviewer out of New York. And the thing is, when you hear him talk, you would not expect him to be a tech reviewer. If you see him, you wouldn't expect him to be a tech reviewer. I think that's one thing that made me gravitate towards his channel, because he wasn't like your average tech reviewer. I'll do that, Miss Yum Yum. I'll put their links in the community tab when I'm done. But yeah, those are definitely 3 tech channels that I'm subscribed to, and every time they upload a video, I watch them. But yeah, like them suing YouTube doesn't surprise me. And like I said, my 3 requests will be to give me back my original channel with full monetization, stop shadow banning my channel, send out those notifications, and fire Susan. I think as a collective, no matter what ethnic background you come from on this platform, many people don't like her. Let me go on to the next story. Okay, this one I really wanted to touch on right here. Let me see if I can So who has heard this story about this woman named Carol Horn? You can see her right here. She's the woman right there on the left. Who heard about her? Stephanie, they probably had so many petitions about her being terminated, and they must have all fell through because she's still here. She's still there. Now, we always say that there's no such things as good cops because many of them who claim to be good are often complicit in what their cohorts are known to do. Well, Carol Horn is different. She actually is one of the good ones. Now, her story is back in 2006. She saw one of her partners engaging in misconduct with a person they were detaining. And I think the person was most likely black. So she stepped in and basically said that what they were doing was wrong. She went to the higher ups and basically told on them, and she ended up losing her job. She couldn't get her pension, none of that. Like she lost her job. Like when they fired her, they fired her. And see, this is why a lot of black people don't want to be cops because they see all this kind of stuff in there. At least the ones that have some kind of a moral compass to them. They better be lucky she didn't pull a Christopher Dorner, because that initially is what his situation was. He saw misconduct and he had to call it out. And when they got rid of him, he had to find a way to come back and get rid of them. But I'm glad she's coming out now with the story. As a matter of fact, this is actually the best time for her to come forward with this. Because we know that there's a lot of racism that goes on in those departments, especially and look at that former Buffalo police officer. Didn't we just talk about Buffalo? I guess in order for her to have kept her job, she had to push some elderly person to the ground and cause them not to walk again. So she was initially in the same department as those terrorists that pushed that old man. See, she got fired for doing the right thing. But I'm glad that she's telling her story. And notice also too, let's just be real, they also fired her, and I'm gonna be honest, because she's black. It's like that's why a lot of people compare cops to being in a gang. It's like their own little gang culture. Her job was not to come forward and complain about what she saw and have a grievance with it. Her job was to be complicit with what she saw or turn a blind eye when questioned about it. She went against the code, and the code fired back at her and fired her. But I'm glad that she is able now to tell her story, and hopefully many more people will know or hear this. Because truth be told, I'm sure there's other people who work in these police departments who are black who deal with the same thing. But because they don't want to lose that check or they don't want to be outcast, they deal with it. I remember it was a documentary, I think it came on Netflix, when they were talking about the NYPD and how they treated the black cops who worked there and all the stuff that they saw and the quota system and everything like that. I remember when they tried to say that the quota system wasn't real. I said, you don't have to lie to us. We know the quota system exists. Kerry Clay said, ironic because a black female officer didn't stop the cop that choked Eric Garner and they fired her for not interceding. That's okay. That's very weird. So they fired her for not interrupting, but they probably would have fired her anyway. She didn't stand a chance. But they wanted to keep Daniel Pantaleo on the clock, on the clock. That's why I have started to refer to them as terrorists. They are nothing more than domestic terrorists. What's going on, Mickey Bricks? That's what they are, and that's what they should be referred to as. But let me go ahead and head on to the next story. I hope everything turns out for the best for this woman though. Hopefully more and more people are able to hear her story. Let's see what we got next up on here. Oh, this is the perfect story right here. I didn't know if I was going to talk about this as a let me see if I can find this picture. Oh, there it is right here. Okay. I didn't know if I was going to do this as a pre-recorded video or save it for the live stream. I said, you know what? Let me do it for the live. So, this story right here, and I'm glad they dug it up because it happened this year. You have this guy whose name is Heath Hanson. You can't see his picture right now. Hopefully they have it somewhere in this article. Oh, there it is right here. Here it is. Woo! I know that's a sight for sore eyes right there. But you have this guy here by the name of Heath Hanson, who back in March had the same kind of a situation as Rayshard Brooks. Maybe not to the same extent, but it has some similarities. One of those major similarities was the taking of the taser and trying to basically use it against the cop. Look at this. Suspect gets tased after taking an officer's taser. Now, he's still alive. And this happened back in March, y'all. You probably didn't hear about this. I didn't hear about it either. This happened back in March, and it has been updated a few days ago, probably because of in response to the Rayshard Brooks situation. He's still alive. Rayshard Brooks is deceased. Why aren't these particular groups of people not saying anything about this? Effectively, they almost were similar, but there was one major outcome that was different from the other. One is alive and one is not. And that's not all. It was a video I was trying to find. I was going to play it for y'all, but I couldn't find it. Maybe, but the thing is, I think I talked about it. If y'all remember, a couple years ago, there was this white guy who got into it with these cops on the side of the road. Literally was chasing them around the car and everything. He literally was wrestling the cops and everything. Hopped into the car and drove off. I think they eventually did catch him. It was so funny to hear that, or interesting to see that. But we all know why that was. They probably just arrested him, and they probably even give him a major charge. But when it comes to us, we get all kinds of scrutiny and everything like that. Their stuff gets overlooked and it gets buried. Miss Elbow Jones, I can't remember. What did you say his name was? Jerry what? What was his name? Jerry? But I wish I could have found that video. That way y'all can see it if y'all didn't see it. But many of y'all said that y'all did see it. But he was doing acrobats and everything to get away from them, and still did. Or how about the one last year where you had that white guy that was naked, that was literally just came from killing a couple of people, and he chasing around the cop who has this big assault style weapon, and he gets scared and runs away from the guy. I'm like, he has no clothes on. Pop him right now. But he allowed him to chase him and then went and attacked somebody else and tried to kill them. Okay, so y'all just knew it was a Jerry. Okay. So I don't know what his last name was, but we knew it was a Jerry who was the one in that video. But all I'm saying is keep the same energy. But we know that they not. And we could bring the stuff to them and they'll still talk around it. They'll probably hit you with but black on black crime. Oh, shut up. Let me move on to the next story. Okay. So I'm sure you have all heard about this right here. Oh, shout out to Cat PY2. He says they also need to remove asset forfeiture because it hurts the innocent. Salute to you. So, y'all have heard the Supreme Court decision that came down the line this week involving the Academy, in which basically stated that you cannot discriminate against anyone in the Academy, in the workplace, no matter if it's a blue collar or white collar job. I said, okay, fine. But guess what? If I was the owner of said company, there would definitely be some ground rules. Don't come up in here like you about to be dressed for a pride parade. You will dress according to the dress code. If it's professional dress, you will dress professionally. Leave all the theatrics at home. This is a place of business. This is not the salon. See, what's going to end up happening is the owners of these companies, they're going to have to really, really put their foot down now. Because guess what? Now that they have this in place, the people in the Academy, they are going to try. They are going to try them. And if you say the wrong thing, they will go to that Supreme Court and say they were discriminated against because someone said something along the lines of being homophobic? I bet you that they will. Because they're going, like I said, they're going to try it. They are going to try it. And I've said this before. This is nothing more than a domino effect. When one thing happens, they're going to steamroll a bunch of other things in. And I have a feeling that the academy is just getting warmed up. You thought them being able to have same-sex marriages was something, and that this is something else? Wait until you see what they come out with next. And here's the thing. I don't know what they about to do. I don't know what they about to do for them next. Like I said, well, I'm not gonna say that on here, but they are getting cranked up to really, 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 really take over. And like we've always said, the word phobia means to be scared of something. They took it and they bastardized it and turned it into something that it is not, clearly. Because many people are not scared of anyone in that community, but many of them do too much. And they know it. But notice that for the black ones, they're not out there trying to fight for reparations. They out there to try to fight for social status and to be seen. Excuse me. That's what they're out there for. Shout out to Solo Dolo, who said they need to leave it in the bedroom. Well, that's not happening anymore. It used to be a thing where it says whatever you do in your bedroom and the comments of your home is your business. Not anymore. Not anymore. But they're fighting to be seen and social status and everything like that. And guess what? I bet you if anything goes against their little policy, they're gonna come at us and say that black people are the most homophobic. Look at what Silly Porter said recently. And I had to do a video about him. Look at what he said. Where he did all of that coming down on black people, but didn't say a word when Yasmin Jackson got attacked by that T-class member. But then again, it's Silly Porter. Look at how he acts, how he likes to dress, and who he's married to. That tells you all you need to know right there. Of course not, Caleb, unless they have the word trans in front of it. That's about it. I bet he did, KM Hearts. I bet he did. Let's say they passed reparations. He's probably gonna try to take credit for that or say that he tried to pass some kind of legislation to push it forward. Yeah, right. But speaking of that, I wanted to talk about something that wasn't on my list. But someone brought it to my attention. Yesterday. And since I was already on a discussion about this academy, I want y'all to hear how ridiculous this is looking right here. So it says X-Men fans petition Marvel to cast Pose star Dominic Jackson. Let me remind you that this person is not biologically born a woman. In case y'all didn't know. Remember when I was saying what will come next? That's what they're trying to push for to come next. I don't think that this is going to happen, but the fact that this is even an idea, no. That would mean, let's hypothetically say this person got cast. That means they would be playing Storm in the upcoming MCU X-Men films as well as Black Panther 2 if they decide to put Storm into that movie. That's not happening. And remember, they kept trying to say that they needed some kind of alphabet representation for Black Panther. No, they don't. Now, they were also petitioning before this Dominic Jackson one came out. They were also putting out there the idea of having Beyonce play Storm. Now, I'm not a fan of Beyonce's acting, but if they had to come down between Beyonce and this person, I think the choice would be obvious. But I wouldn't choose Beyonce either to play Storm either. But I definitely wouldn't choose this Dominic Jackson person either. At least I know Beyonce is a woman. And then you got to take into consideration, like, how would the actors feel? Like, how would Chadwick Boseman feel? He would have to interact with this person because, as we all know, T'Challa and Storm were married. But then what they'll do is, if they go against it, they'll accuse them of being homophobic, transphobic. That's what they'll accuse them of. Oh, Treehouse, they are already there. They already said they got them plans in motion to throw that academy up in all through these MCU movies in the next phase. They've already started. Whether it be subtle hints or they are full blatant with it. But they can try this if they want to. Watch how much their fandom goes down. But what was so crazy was looking through the comment section and seeing how so many people were saying, "Oh yeah, she would be great. She would." I'm like, "My wow!" And most of it was coming from people who look like you and I. I don't know what's crazier: the people that feel that they are actually this person, this gender, even though they're clearly not, because science tells them so, or the people that enabled it, aka their supporters. Oh yeah, I've talked about that, Carrie Clay, plenty of times on my channel, where women are complaining that these C-class members are competing with them and they're beating them. Of course, because even though they claim to be a woman and they may have had an operation, internally, genetic wise, they are still a man. Now, this is just a petition. Now, from what I gather, this Dominique Jackson didn't start the petition up or campaign to play this part. They said apparently this was coming from the fans of the show that they are on and fans of this person who brought this up. Like, they really want a person who was born a man who now calls himself a woman to play a role of a actual woman, a person, a character that many people, especially in the Black community or people who love comics in general, have helmed up to be such a powerful mutant who has, like someone said in the chat, been miscast and underpowered in these movies. And the time for them to probably actually get it right, this is the possibility that you could come up with. Not saying that Marvel is going to choose them, but hey, stranger things have happened. I'll tell you this: if this was to actually go through, which I, to be honest, completely doubt that it will, I couldn't support it. As much as I liked watching Black Panther, I couldn't watch the second one. I just couldn't. If this is what they went with. But I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be optimistic and realistic with this thing. This is just gonna be an idea. This isn't even gonna make it to the cutting room floor. except for it is an idea to just be cut. But let me move on. So I'm sure everyone here has heard about what happened with Robert Fuller. Well, now it's information coming out about his brother, his half brother, was shot and killed recently as well. Coincidence? I think not. And the fact that it happened so soon, like I'm not gonna say immediately after, but very recently after. And I saw the video on Twitter where they was pretty much like had a like all their guns drawn on this guy. I don't care what nobody says. Robert Fuller sounds to me like he was targeted. The one who was hung, it sounds to me like he was targeted. And I'm starting to believe that maybe his brother knew something and they had to get rid of him too. Like imagine you being a parent and you lost both of your children within the same month. And in that manner. And then try to tell us that it wasn't what it seemed. I mean, to sit up there and try to insult our intelligence with Robert Fuller and tell us that he committed suicide. No, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. And then to go out and kill his brother. In my job, this is California, the so-called most liberal state. And when they said Palmdale, California, it dawned on me that, excuse me, that I had did Palmdale or covered Palmdale in my Sundown series when I was on the state of California. Palmdale was one of those cities that was considered a sundown town. You're right, El Michelle. Something does really smell when it comes to this story. Like something is definitely not right here. But you know, they're not going to give us all the information. They're not going to tell us everything. I saw that, Stephanie. That's crazy. She says 120 people have been killed since the death of George Floyd. Mind you, we haven't even been a whole month in since he was murdered. He was murdered on Memorial Day, which was the 27th? Was it 27th? And it's only the 19th. But I'm sure that the family is not going to stand by and say, "Oh, my son committed suicide." So I guess that's it. They only say that because they wanted to go away so there won't be no investigation. And I think they recently said that there was another lynching, I want to say in Tennessee or something like that. They claimed that one to be accidental. Then I think it was one in Texas that they said was suicide, but they missed one thing. There were tire tracks in the dirt. So somebody drove there and drove away. It's been a lot of lynchings been going on lately. Oh, it was the 25th? Okay, my bad. The 25th. I was getting ready to say the 25th too, but I thought it was the 27th. But yeah, something ain't right here. And whatever they're telling us, I don't believe it. Because you know they're going to try to tarnish the brother's name too. Let me see. So who heard about this? Call for probe of the NYPD unions over false claim that Shake Shack poisoned their cops. I said that doesn't surprise me in the least bit. Especially, I said this is the NYPD we're talking about here. So basically, the story went that these three cops had went to a Shake Shack to get some milkshakes, and that they didn't feel well after drinking it, and they felt like it was food poisoning. Then they claimed that the employees there who worked at the Shake Shack who made their drinks did that to them because they are anti-cop or something like that. And then it came out that they lied. If I was the owner of Shake Shack or of that particular establishment, lawsuit. And I would want it to come straight and direct from their paycheck, from their pension. Yeah, they said that they put bleach in the shakes. Well, shoot, some of y'all probably listened to 45 when he said that Clorox would cure the virus. That's why I really couldn't took Officer Karen McFatbutt serious the other day when she was crying about her sausage McMuffin or whatever McMuffin it is that she got. I couldn't take her seriously. This is why people, I said, this does not help the police look better in any light. They're already in a dim situation right now as it is on a global scale. This does not help you. The fact that they aren't even trying to really change their ways, even while under heavy scrutiny, will let you know that they will never change. You can reform all you want. They're not going to change because you would have to change the person. However they came in is how they're going to be while they are there and how they will be when they leave. Like this could have hurt their business. Now, luckily, Shake Shack is a well-established company. What if they had did this to a mom and pop shop? What if they did this to a corner store, like a very small brick and mortar business, and say that they actually got away with their claim? That whole livelihood would have been gone. Because let's say they wouldn't have been able to get some high-priced lawyer like Shake Shack. They would have been done. The police in this establishment have lost all credibility, especially certain departments like the NYPD. They've been lost credibility eons ago, though. Stephanie, you said now the NYPD is talking about striking on the 4th of July. Let them strike. See, here's the thing. Now they claim that they want to act like they got balls of steel and saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. We're at the point where as a collective, we don't care. Do what you want. No, Lord knows you've been doing what you want for so long. Why stop now? See, this is telling us that they're losing their stronghold. That stronghold that they once held with the people is slowly fading away. It's unfortunate that it took the death of a black man for it to happen, but as you can see, it is happening. And everybody sees it for what it is. Because for years, black people have been saying that these departments are so corrupt, but no one listened to us. And that's how they prefer to keep it. But now that everybody sees it for what it is, now they're scared. They are shook. They don't know what to do. And they can spew all this rhetoric and cry all these tears like Karen McFatbutt. And we just gonna sit there and laugh. And it is what it is. Oh, let's see. Let me talk. Oh, ooh, I'm glad I come across this one right here. Who has seen this story right here involving this man by the name of Steve Carrillo? I hate when that pops up. Hopefully his picture comes up. I want to pull his picture up. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so okay, let me scroll down to see if y'all heard him. Okay. For those of y'all who don't know who Steve Carrillo is, who this guy is right here on the screen, I'm gonna just have to go off of this. He is a 32-year-old former U.S. I think Air Force. I think it was the Air Force or was the Navy. I think it was the Air Force. He used to be in the military, and he went to a protest with the intent to kill cops. Exactly as Dave 124 ambush style. He went to a protest with the intent to kill cops. That was his intention. He was successful because he killed one cop. And they also says that he had ties to this group called the Boogaloo. I forgot what it's called, Boogaloo something. But it was a white extremist group. And as you can see, he's still breathing. I saw that, Stephanie, he only had one hand. I said someone need to shoot the other one off. But yeah, he went there with the intention to kill cops. He killed one. Sorry, I had to mute my screen right quick. But anyway, he killed one cop. He's a part of this white extremist group. He went out there to the protest. I'm glad they identified him because you know what they would have tried to say? It was somebody black that did it. But notice, mainstream media is not talking about it. He was going there for his own intentions. And like I said, his intention was to kill. They called him. I think they already charged him. 9 times out of 10, they're going to find him guilty. But they wanted to focus so much on those black guys that killed David Dorn. I didn't see the Coonsters talk about this. I didn't see Brandon Fakem talk about this. I didn't hear Mushmouth spitting all over the place. Terrence K. Williams talking about it. I didn't see any of those people on Fox News talk about it. None of that. This story right here most likely did not leave local affiliates. That's why many of you are new to this story right now, even though this story came out maybe last week. Exactly, Boulder Rockets. Not one scratch on them. Now I see y'all in the chat talking about breaking when I said Boogaloo. Interesting how all of that plays out, right? And he was a military personnel. Wasn't Christopher Dorner a former military personnel as well? And they burned him inside that house. Wasn't Micah Johnson, wasn't he military personnel? And they blew him up with some robotic bomb that we have yet to see in the last, 4 years? Wasn't Gavin Long a military personnel and they shot and killed him? I mean, I'm just saying. You said that CBS and NBC reported it as well. How many times did they report it? I bet you probably one time. And you said he shot a black security guard as well. See the pattern? I mentioned 3 black guys who used to be military personnel who all killed cops and they all ended up dead. If this guy went up there and killed the cop and shot a security guard and he's still breathing, but he was also in the military. I guess they feel they could redeem him. We know RPM. We already talked about her. They got her picture, but they're still looking for her. And see, I bet you when he came to that cop with the gun, well, someone said it was ambush style, so he couldn't really catch him or try to run away. What I was gonna say is that, and this has happened, he probably tried to reason with him. You know, with us, they can't reason with us. There's no reasoning with us. It's just shoot and kill. Oh, you said it was a federal agent, not a security guard. Yeah, but I just wanted to point that out. He's still alive. And because he went out there with the intent, 9 times out of 10, he is most likely going to get some kind of federal charge behind it. Well, now I'm about to head off of Google and head on over to YouTube because there was something that I wanted you all to see. Hold on. Hopefully it plays. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, did y'all see that? In case y'all don't know what just happened, there was this video that went viral a couple days ago where you had this little black boy in his driveway playing basketball. And when he saw the cop car coming, he hid behind the truck so the cop didn't see him. That's the story that a lot of black children, especially black boys, now deal with. That they feel they have to hide even in their own driveway out of fear that the cop is going to get out of their car and do something to them. Especially when you think about it, what happened with Tamir Rice when he was playing in the park with his sister and they pulled up on him and shot him dead in like 1.5 seconds. And what's so crazy is when I was looking through some of the comments in the comment section, you had people that said, oh, this is nothing new for us. I used to do this when I was his age. We're talking grown adults who are reminiscing. But the fact of the matter is that this is the environment, this is the culture that the law enforcement as a collective has created for the people, especially black folks. And then you got that Michael Mara, the one who that loud mouth in New York that last week talking about we're tired of people calling us thugs and criminals and animals. Well, when you look at the behavior that y'all have displayed over the years, it's not far-fetched. They created a culture of fear. Like, I highly doubt if this little boy was white that he would have done that. You even had, and this was the most ridiculous thing, you even had people online, and y'all know what group I'm talking about, were trying to say that this was staged. Are you kidding me? So you mean to tell me that someone just alerted some random police to say, look, I need you to come and drive down this street, and I'm going to act like I'm about to play basketball. And when you see me, when I see you driving, I'm gonna hide behind the car, and you're gonna drive past me, because I want to put this out here to make it seem like, I'm fearful of you. Really? People got wild imaginations. And it's crazy because these are the same cops that will always scream out, "I fear for my life." And if you fear for your life, then you don't need to be a cop. You need to look for another line of work where fearing for your life is not a thing. But the fact that he had to do that in his own driveway of his home says a lot, because these cops have gotten these terrorists have become so emboldened that they will drive up on you in your own yard. I don't know if y'all heard recently about those seven boys down in Atlanta. Was it seven of them or four? I can't remember how many of it was. And they pulled their guns on them, and you had the people in the background pleading to not shoot them because they were walking through the cut coming back from the store. They said a known cut that was more like basically a shortcut. But this is the reality many of us face, and you'll have people in the other community that will claim we're over exaggerating. Well, that's because you never had to deal with this. Most of your interactions with the cop is maybe some minor traffic infringement, like maybe running a red light or going too fast or having a broken tail light. You've never had to experience the cop rolling up on you in your yard and pulling a gun on you. You never had to experience a cop rolling up on you in the park and shooting you dead. You never had to deal with a cop coming into your home and then claiming they thought it was theirs and then killing you because they thought you were the intruder. You never had to deal with a cop putting their knee on your neck and the rest of them on your body and releasing all pressure from it until you couldn't breathe anymore. You never had to deal with cops having to put you in an illegal chokehold, choking you to death. You never had to deal with a cop harassing you. One day you're alive, you call your family, and you're in a cell, and the next day you're dead because they claim that you hanged yourself with a trash bag. You never had to deal with cops rolling up on you and shooting you square in your head because they thought you were trying to break in. You never had to deal with a cop that was messing with you because you were sleeping in your car, and when you tried to adjust your seating, they shoot 30 times into it, hitting you about, what, 12 times? I could go on and on. And the thing is, as I'm describing these stories, I'm very sure the people in my comment section can attach the name to each and every last description that I gave. You never had to deal with a cop shooting at you multiple times on the night before your wedding. And most of the situations that I'm talking about, all of them either got off or they were never charged at all. So they can miss me with that saying, "Oh, I thought it was that it was that it was staged." But I wanted to do one last uh topic, and this one is more of a hilarious one. When I saw this, I laughed so hard when I saw it. And hopefully the volume is there. I want y'all to let me know if y'all can hear this. Wait, y'all still couldn't hear it? Y'all still couldn't hear it? Wait, y'all still couldn't hear it? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can try to find the audio. Because when I first heard this, I was cracking up when I heard it. I don't know why the audio is not coming through. Because I really want y'all to hear this. You told me to go back to Oakland, right? Let me tell your dusty, dirty, dingy, mannequin built ass something. You don't tell me where the fuck to go. When you leave your house, you old stanky ass lady, you are in the world. So you don't tell me to go back to Oakland. You take your breaking pussy ass to Oakland. Get your funky ass to Oakland. You got a whole COVID-19 fit on with your dusty ass. You the reason why this shit is here. You got a senior citizen spit on your motherfucking sweater telling somebody to go to Oakland. Huh?
Talking for a minute.
Huh?
Can you control your mouth for
You need to control your ass because it stinks. You need to go get a wheelchair. Get your old funky ass somebody and tell somebody to go back to Oakland.
Years old.
You and Alan, okay, I got 80-something years old. Your age don't matter. It seems like you're racist. Because you see me riding by and you tell a black person to go back to Oakland. So it's black people in Oakland, right? Ain't no black people in Alameda?
There's more white people who live in
All right, okay, well, get your dusty, breakable bag, trash, face having ass up out of here then. Don't tell no black person to go back to Oakland. You can't tell me where to go, all right? Listen. That is how you roast a Karen verbally. When I saw that video on Instagram the other day, I said, okay, do I make this a triple P or do I wait until Friday to give this to y'all in the live stream? I said, okay, I'm gonna do it in the live stream because I wanted y'all to see that. This entire roast, now that's how you roast somebody in under a minute. That's how you do it. He didn't stumble over his words. He said what he meant. He didn't try to plead with her or anything like that. That's how you do it. So far, we have seen a Karen be dealt with physically, meaning a Native American woman who slapped that Karen in that gas station. And now you have this brother right here who verbally roasted her. When he said she had on that woo-woo outfit with that old person spit up, that part took me out. And he took a camera look up, he did a camera up and down of the whole outfit. She couldn't come back with nothing. She could not come back with anything. And he made sure that she really couldn't get a word in. But she had a lot of nerve to come out of her mouth and say that he needed to go back to where he came from, or back to Oakland, whatever it is that she said. She had a lot of nerve, but that's how these Karens are. And I listen, if you go on YouTube, if y'all need a good laugh, just go on YouTube and look up Karen freak out compilations. I swear, they must have like 20 plus volumes of these compilation videos that have started since April, and they're still making them. If you need a good laugh, just go on the YouTube and type that in, get you some popcorn, and be prepared to laugh your ass off, because the shit is hilarious of the stuff that they freak out about. I saw one where this one Karen, this old Karen, she's knocking on Gertrude levels, where she was trying to reprimand this mother because her kids was riding around in this motorized car and was saying that they need to be driving with a license. It's a motorized vehicle and they're children. What are you talking about? They need a license. I think that was one of the most ridiculous ones I saw this week. But yeah, these Karens are out of control. But this shows you right here. But see, I'm gonna be honest. We thought the Karens were just going after black people, black men in particular. But if you look at those Karen freak out compilations, they do this act with anybody. They do it with other white people. They do it with Hispanics. They do it with Asians. They do it with Arabs. It's because for so long, white women have been put on a pedestal, and for so long they've been told that they can do no wrong. So that's why they come at people the way that they do. And then when they get checked, they get shocked. Like when that Native American woman slapped her, she was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." Then her husband, her silly, goofy husband, had the nerve to come out of his mouth and say that she had a mental illness and that he'd been trying to get her help for like a year and everything like that, and try to produce these fake tears. I said, get out of here with that. And now you have this guy who cussed her out and she couldn't believe that he said what he said. Because no one can tell her that exactly, Brittany. It's the entitlement. They are some of the most entitled, spoiled people on the planet. But yeah, like it's hilarious. Like I said, just go ahead and go watch those videos if you want a really good laugh. You're going to, trust me, you are going to get a good chuckle. As a matter of fact, I think I might do just that when I end this live stream, just so I can get a good laugh. Because sometimes with the stuff going on in this world, you need something to laugh at. And why not laugh at Karen just go off on people in the most palm-colored way possible? Like, the shit is hilarious. Especially when people get back in their face. Because they don't be expecting people to to check them. Oh, it was another one that cracked me up too. When this one Karen, she came into someone's car window, and I forgot what it was that happened. And she was talking to somebody, I guess in the back seat, about, I guess that was their daughter or something like that, and they was trying to talk to the mother and talk to the daughter at the same time. And then she was like, "Lady, why are you over here? What are your kids doing right now?" Because her kids was in the car, but she was all in someone else's car. She said, "Excuse me, my kids are in the car watching Kids Bop." Oh, when she said that, I paused that video and was too done. That was too funny. How she said it and how her face looked when she said it. Oh man, that was too funny. She said it like Kids Bop was this big thing. I'm like, Kids Bop came out when I was a kid. Oh man, that was too funny. But that's one of the videos that's in the compilation. That's why I said it's so funny. Just go on there, go on the YouTube and type in Karen Freak Out compilations. It's a whole bunch of them. I don't think they really repeat any of them. Because some of them are funny and some of them just sound downright demonic. Like some of them sound like they are about to have a demon just come right up on out of them. But Yeah, it's funny. It's pathetic, but it's funny at the same time. Because you got it's so many levels to this Karen thing. You got the Karen that goes into rage mode. You got the Karen that wants to talk all soft and calm. You got the Karen that tries to be sarcastic. Like it's different levels to this Karen shit. But it's currently 6:01 and it is now pretty much the end of the stream. That was the last video I had wanted to show y'all. I wanted to end it off on a funny note. But shout out to everybody who came through to the stream today. Shout out to everybody who donated. I'm definitely going to be I'm going to leave the link to the Rika Roundtree petition down in the comment section. I'm also going to leave in the community. I'm trying to think. I might do it in the community tab. I might do it both. Also leave the link to those 3 channels I was telling you about, those 3 tech channels. And it was something else that I wanted to leave a link to as well. I couldn't remember, but I think it was just those 4 things right there. But this has been fun. Another Friday stream for the books. You know, back to regular scheduled programming tomorrow. You know, the 4 video uploads a day. And with that being said, y'all have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth. Make sure to support a Black-owned business this weekend. Support a few of them. There's plenty to go around, especially now because they are popping up all over the place. And now people, I think, are really supporting them. So if you found a Black-owned business, support it. You know, they can use the help. I've been seeing them promote some of them on TV because they never did it before. But this would be the perfect opportunity to go and do that. But y'all stay safe. Y'all be easy, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.